Coming up in Turkey, Tzu Chi volunteers hold 2 large-scale aid distributions for Syrian refugees. Tzu Chi kindergartners in Malaysia blast off on their annual voyage to vegetarian land. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. Since the start of the Syrian civil war, more than 200,000 Syrians have lost their lives in 4 years of armed conflict. Almost 4 million people have fled Syria into neighboring countries, of which 1.7 million have fled across the border into Turkey. Since last year, Tzu Chi volunteers in Turkey have been providing care and humanitarian aid in response to the Syrian crisis. And at the end of April, 2 large-scale distributions were carried out in Sultan Ghazi and Arnavutköy, helping a total of 1,380 households. In addition, volunteers also took the opportunity to share their spirit of Tzu Chi's bamboo coin bank, which inspired many Syrians to help out fellow countrymen in need.
Putting out the chairs, adjusting the waiting line, and hanging up the Tzu Chi banner, volunteers are making final preparations prior to the start of their second large distribution in Sultan Ghazi, Turkey.
Through Tzu Chi's We Are One Family sign language song, we hope to let them understand that our care and love is genuine. We truly see them as members of our own family.
Tzu Chi Sign Language song reminds the refugees that they are not alone and that Tzu Chi volunteers will always be by their side.
As I watched you perform the sign language song, I really felt like we are all one family.
This distribution aims to help some 900 families who previously have not received Tzu Chi's aid. However, there were still hundreds of families whose names were not on the list and therefore unable to receive aid.
Which of you are willing to do a good deed and become a happy person? Please raise your hands.
Syrian residents donate what they can into the bamboo coin bank in the hope that their contribution can help relieve the plight of their fellow countrymen. Even more moving is that upon departure, some even donated a portion of their relief supplies.
I know that apart from us, there are many others whose names are not on the list. These brothers and sisters need the aid as much as we do, so we are just contributing a little of our strength to help them.
The act of giving is a manifestation of love, and it is this bond of love that have hearts beaming with hope and gratitude.
At every distribution, we always feel sad when we see that not everyone was able to receive aid. Therefore, we hope that this love from Taiwan can inspire residents to pass this love on to their neighbors.
Countless Syrians' lives have been uprooted by the ruthless war. With their love and smiles, Tzu Chi volunteers have soothed their pain and suffering, becoming their beacon of light during times of despair.
Tzu Chi Foundation's disaster relief and medical team, which departed from Taiwan on April 27th, finally arrived in Kathmandu, Nepal after a long layover in Thailand. Upon their arrival, the team was welcomed by Taiwan's representative in India and a priest from Society of Jesus. As time is of the essence, the volunteers hope to carry out their mission to help as many quake survivors as possible.
After taking nearly twice the normal flight time, Tzu Chi's first disaster survey team has finally arrived at the international airport in Kathmandu, Nepal. As long as we're here, we will be able to make the trip smoother for those coming to Nepal in the near future.
After the layover in Bangkok, Thailand, Tzu Chi's first disaster survey team has arrived at the Trip Huvan International Airport and was greeted by Taiwan's representative in India, Tian Zhongguang.
I believe Tzu Chi volunteer spirit and past experience in disaster relief can further assist the relief effort in Nepal.
A priest from the Society of Jesus who knew about Tzu Chi made it a point to welcome them the traditional way. At the baggage claim area, everyone works hand in hand to carry more than 90 boxes of relief items and medical supplies onto the waiting vehicles. Driving through the capital of Nepal, one can see quake survivors taking shelter in tents. Many tourist attractions are also severely damaged by the strong quake.
在强震过后，在加德满都
The earthquake destroyed and damaged many tourist attractions and historical sites in Kathmandu.
都在这次的强震当中呢，受到严重的毁损。
Without a roof over their heads, quake survivors can only cook food on the side of the road. As nightfall comes, the low temperature makes survivors' situation even worse. A candlelight visual in the middle of a street has saved Nepal and the country's flag composed of candlelight. Besides mourning for the deceased, residents also pray sincerely for a world free from disasters.
Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers in Tzu Chi's Medan, Indonesia, celebrated the formation of the Prima University Tzu Chi Club, with volunteers and teachers hoping that the Tzu Chis can be a good force for good on campus. Also in Medan, Tzu Chi volunteers have been working with the government to provide free surgery for elderly with cataracts.
Ijurawan arrives at Tzu Chi's free clinic with his family. His only wish is to be able to see again.
2 years ago, I began to experience blurred vision. I couldn't see properly when I looked up. It was then that I realized that I had cataracts.
Although Rawan's eyes are still covered after surgery, one can hear the excitement in his voice.
I'm so happy. Thank you, Tzu Chi, for giving me the chance to see again.
In support of the World Health Organization's Vision 2020 initiative, an initiative that aims to eliminate avoidable blindness by the year 2020, Tzu Chi volunteers of the Medan branch have been working with the government to provide free surgery for cataract sufferers.
Muda Tzu Chi melakukan operasi katarak adalah untuk membantu masyarakat yang kurang
The
mampu.
Tzu Chi Foundation's free clinic hopes to help impoverished residents. Many cannot afford surgery because for them it is extremely expensive.
Bagi mereka yang kurang mampu.
Yang menonjol adalah menolong yang lebih tua itu.
In my view, charity and love are the same. You give love unconditionally, regardless of one's religion or ethnicity. This free clinic has allowed us to serve the elderly as well.
This time around, 30 seniors were given the gift of sight. Able to see clearly now, the world is filled with color once more. Here at Prima University, Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu Chis have come to celebrate the formation of an on-campus Tzu Chi club.
Sangat bagus, sangat bagus.
We're really blessed to have received so much support. We're very happy to have received help from the school and Tzu Chi volunteers in setting up this Tzu Chi club. I believe this will mark the start of a very good partnership.
Currently, the club already has some 10 members, students who had previously attended Tzu Chi activities and were inspired by the organization's mission. These youth all hope to inspire positive change on campus.
The establishment of the Tzu Chi Club means we will be able to exert real influence. I'm truly glad to be a part of the club because I know Tzu Chis can act as a catalyst of positive change.
From planning to the actual establishment, Tzu Chi volunteers have been steady pillars of support through the entire journey.
Dengan memiliki sikap
I hope those who join the Tzu Chi Club may cultivate good moral character and learn to love our planet and people.
With a clear direction and clear goals, these Tzu Chis are ready to embark on a journey of compassion.
In Taiwan, invited by New Taipei City's Labor Affairs Department, Tzu Chi volunteers and Northern Team chapter members held a health check for foreign laborers from Thailand, as Tzu Chi has participated in similar events before and thus has a well-staffed translation team on hand. However, until the event, they lacked a Thai translator. Thankfully, someone came forth to volunteer their services.
Cramming some last-minute Thai with a translator, Tzu Chi volunteers are thankful that they finally found someone to help them translate between Thai and Chinese.
I have translation experience as I have worked with foreign laborers before. I'm glad to have this opportunity to give.
I am most thankful to this group of volunteers behind me who show me that love is boundless. Despite living abroad, they still help their fellow countrymen and those from other countries.
The health check today was held on behalf of foreign laborers from Thailand.
We are not only providing medical services here today, in some way, we're also telling them they are not alone here. If they have questions, at least there is someone here to ask. to get some answers.
Today, the 8 medical services provided include mental health services, where doctors show patients how to let go of their stress.
Try to do some exercise during the day so you can sleep better at night. This way, your emotions will be better balanced and your heart rate will also regulate itself.
This time, Northern District TIMA members and community volunteers mobilized in total 140 people to help over 170 Thai workers get the medical attention they need.
Later this year, Malaysia's Tzu Chi volunteers will present the musical adaptation of the Water Repentance Sutra at the Kuala Lumpur Jinsi Hall. As there are over 540 on-stage volunteers from Klang participating, coming up with a place to rehearse has been tough for the organizers of the event, as not everyone can travel to Kuala Lumpur to practice. Let's see how the planning committee overcame this obstacle. The planning committee of Tzu Chi Malaysia's musical adaptation of the Water Repentance Sutra not only meets almost on a daily basis, but also participates in many of the rehearsals alongside the onstage volunteers.
When we first got started, it was really difficult because we were unfamiliar with the venue layout and the formation of each section of the musical. The most important is to unite the performance and have each group be immersed in the sutra. We tried our best to simplify and explain the formations so that each participant can understand it.
Due to distance, participants from Klang are often unable to rehearse with the others at the Kuala Lumpur Jinsi Hall, so the committee searched for an alternative solution.
When we practice at the retreat, we mostly just practice our hand movements. So often, participants struggle with signing and moving at the same time. We thought each group could find a place in their respective communities to practice at.
In making sure the onstage volunteers are taken care of, the committee sometimes gets tired as well.
At times, you don't feel like you have any more strength left. It is in those moments that you need to remember your initial aspiration and just complete the task at hand.
At the end of the day, the greatest reward for the committee is for the onstage volunteers to transmit the message of the sutra without worry and stress. Invisible to the human eyes, fine particles in the air, known as PM 2.5, are a lot deadlier than we may believe. They enter our body through our respiratory system and affect our heart and brain functions. Though the Taiwan government has been promoting a reduction in greenhouse gases, the country's air quality has actually taken a dive in recent years. In fact, it has the second worst air quality among the 36 nations in the OECD.
来，我们去公园玩哦。 口罩先戴起来。
Every time when Mrs. Ye takes her children outdoors, they will have to put on masks, as otherwise the children will develop an allergic reaction from the air pollution.
下一个是小学1年级。
One is in first grade and the other one is a second grader in kindergarten. When air quality was quite poor a while back, they would sneeze continuously and have a runny nose.
很怕出去玩会很痛。
会很痛哦，哪边会痛？
眼睛。
Fine particles in the air known as particulate matter 2.5 not only cause allergic symptoms but can affect brain functions as well.
PM 2.5 is very serious. It can reach your brain through blood circulation, which increases the risk of stroke, affect the abilities to focus and memorize, and even increases the risk of dementia.
Due to its extremely small size, PM 2.5 can enter our respiratory system as we inhale through our nose. It will accumulate in the alveoli of the lungs and cause infection of the respiratory system. Prolonged exposure to the fine particles can lead to pathological changes in chronic illness, reduced lung capacity, and increase the risks of coronary artery disease, heart attack, stroke, and arrhythmia. In 2013, the WHO declared the particles to be carcinogenic, while studies done by the US proved that for every 10 microgram increase of PM2.5 per cubic meter, life expectancy is reduced by 7 to 8 months.
For every 10 micrograms increase of PM2.5 per cubic meter of air, chances of death is increased by 4%, while chances of cardiovascular disease is increased by 6%, and lung cancer by 8%.
Studies done in Taiwan show that due to the PM2.5 released by the 6 naphtha cracking plant in Yunlin, life expectancy for those living in surrounding counties is reduced by 100 days minimum. On average, life expectancy for Taiwan residents has been reduced by 43.6 days as a result.
Not only will it latch onto your skin, scalp, eyes, and nose, it will enter the body through the respiratory system and be carried by blood circulation to every part of the human body.
Doctors recommend that people should wear high-quality medical masks to protect themselves, but it is up to the government to tackle the root of the problem. Just exactly why has the air quality taken a dive while the government is promoting reduction in greenhouse gases? Only by finding out and stopping who is causing the pollution can citizens and future generations be protected.
The annual Passport to Vegetarian Land campaign has recently kicked off at Tzu Chi kindergartens throughout Malaysia. It is a campaign where students and teachers adopt a vegetarian diet for the duration of 30 days. And to motivate themselves, students are given a passport to vegetarian land as a fun way to keep track of their vegetarian meals each day. Next, we join students at the Tzu Chi Ningpong Tabal kindergarten to see how the first day of their campaign turned out.
Early in the morning, students of the Tzu Chi Ningpong Tabal kindergarten embark on a mission to vegetarian land. With everyone on board, the space shuttle is ready for takeoff. Under the guidance of their teachers and DaAi mothers, young chefs of vegetarian land get to work preparing vegetarian meals, while waiters are put in charge of decorating the dining area. With their passport to vegetarian land in hand, newly admitted students and 4-year-olds are full of excitement to visit the planet for the first time. Through these short skits, students learned the importance of a vegetarian diet. Next, students got to taste healthy and delicious vegetarian meals prepared by their fellow classmates, which was a highlight of the event.
The message we want to convey is that if children can be vegetarians, adults should also be able to abstain from meat. Going meatless is not difficult at all. We believe that over the course of time, it will become a natural habit.
Kicking off the campaign with a bang, teachers and students are ready to embrace a 30-day meat-free diet as they put their love and concern for the planet into action.
In the United States, Tzu Chis from Austin, Texas, recently held a seminar where interested collegiate youths came to learn more about being a Tzu Chi. Meanwhile, in New York, Tzu Chi extended learning session kicked off with Tzu Saos being exposed to traditional Chinese cultural practices. Let's take a look at their reactions. The Tzu Chi community classes in New York kicks off with a group of Tzu Saos. They begin by learning about tea serving and showing respect for others.
I learned how to formally and traditionally pour tea and just general manners and respect. Definitely, I think it's so important for us, especially teenagers and almost teenagers, to learn more respect for our families and friends.
These traditional practices have already faded in my generation. As adults, we are busy with work, and when young as students, we were busy with our studies. The Chinese tea culture should carry on to the next generation.
I think the most important thing I have learned is the concept of 3 hearts. The heart to be filial towards parents, the heart of respect towards friends, and the heart of compassion.
Cutting leaves and flowers, Tzu Saos also try their hand at floral arrangement. Heading into the kitchen, Tzu Saos pick up knives to cut and prepare food, some for the first time. Through actual meal preparation, they come to realize how time-consuming it is for parents to prepare meals every day. Meanwhile, in Austin, Texas, participants of a Tzu Chi training seminar are getting to know one another through icebreakers.
Many housewives, about 30 of them,
In the seminar, participants learn about the dress code and proper behavior for a Tzu Chi. Several also noticed how friendly everyone was and recognized the group's enthusiasm to help others.
No matter how hard I try to learn the language, no matter how hard I try to understand it as well, I don't think I'll ever be able to fully grasp it because of the language barrier. Okay. But I just know in my heart that it means something beautiful, it means something special. It has a meaning that says we want to help people, you know?
A Tzu Chi alumnus shares his experiences of when he lived in Taiwan for half a year, a time during which he became even more deeply involved in Tzu Chi.
You see a lot more things that you don't see here, and a lot of the, because like the introductions to all those missions that we talked about today, those, you go into those a lot more deeply.
Spreading the seeds of compassion, these young volunteers look to inspire others to join their ranks. More about Tzu Chi youngsters, but in Taiwan, the Tzu Chi class in Neihu, Taipei organized an outing for students to try their hand at harvesting vegetables and making bamboo rice. The unforgettable experience helped the students grow and learn to cherish food and natural resources.
Holding their class in a vegetable garden, students are experiencing firsthand the life of a farmer.
See how they pulled out the carrots. Although they are only here for a day, they've learned a lot through the activity already.
A Tzu Chi class in Neihu organized an outing for students to learn about various vegetables and try their hand at farming.
I feel good about eating the vegetables as they are grown by these volunteers who did not use pesticides.
Harvesting is just the beginning. The students also had to make bamboo rice.
Apart from being diligent students, I hope our children learn to take care of themselves as well. This time around, they had to cut the bamboo, stuff the rice inside, and roast them. They had to do everything by themselves. We only assisted them.
From cutting the bamboo to stuffing them with rice and roasting them, the students learn much from the cooking lesson.
Yes, it's fun. It's interesting because I've never done something like this before.
From this class held in nature, students experience the hard work that goes into farming and thus better learn to cherish their food.
In Kaohsiung, Taiwan, a group of seniors participated in an activity where they got to be managers of a convenience store for the day. The fun program, headed by the Hongdao Senior Citizens Welfare Foundation, gave the seniors a chance to leave their house and interact with the community. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.